What's up, guys? Thank you for checking this out. Today, I have Dawn with me, who has been a client for around 4 months now because you actually renewed with us. So, could you just start off by telling everyone what was your situation before we actually started working together?
I had been married about 16 years and was blessed that I didn't have to be working. So I was dabbling in some live personal training, some group fitness. I am with a multi-level marketing company. So I was doing some online fitness and nutrition coaching, but in a multi-level marketing setting. And so as far as a business, it was more of a fun hobby that brought in some play money. And then before I started working with you, a couple weeks before, I told my husband of 16 years that I wanted a divorce. And so when I came to you, it was time to get serious about a business so that I could actually earn an income and support myself.
Mhm. Wow. So, your basically like career literally depended on you getting your business working.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What would you have done if you weren't able to get the business up and running?
I'm not really sure. I would have had to borrow a lot of money from my parents, which I absolutely didn't want to do.
Uh-huh.
I was blessed that I had a safety net, but it's a
Yeah.
safety net at 42 years old you don't want to be tapping into.
Right.
And I really did not want to have to go into a traditional job. I didn't want to have to be tied to somebody else's schedule. I live not far from my niece and nephew, and they're 7 and 10, and I want to be able to go to all their things.
Mhm.
So it was make this work or have to be miserable and find a job that I didn't want to have.
And then even before that, with your MLM business, I mean, how long were you doing that? What sort of revenue was that bringing in, and what price point?
I was doing that about 5 6 years in. It really started as something that I was doing for myself. It was products and programs I was utilizing, and in an MLM, really the way to earn income is not in commission. It's building a team and having a
Mhm.
team produce. And so, I was making about 12 1,500 bucks a month, which isn't bad for that kind of business, but it's not going to support the kind of lifestyle I want in any way.
Right. And if we look at that, what was your kind of first stop in terms of revenue?
As far as
Like, what did you want to be bringing in from your full-time business, with going through the divorce and supporting your lifestyle and living, stuff like that?
Right. I was not a numbers person. I was
Mhm.
one of those married spouses that didn't really have a really good understanding of finances. And so in my brain, I just kept thinking I need to make like $60,000 a year to support myself, regardless of what my husband's doing. I live in Florida,
Mhm.
so cost of living is not as expensive as other places. And so just in my brain, for whatever reason, 60,000 sounded like a great number to be able to support myself and then just build from there, as a good starting point.
Yeah, that's 5K a month, which I mean, you kind of pretty much hit, right? But let's backtrack a bit to how you even found us in the first place.
Yeah. So my best friend is one of your clients. And when COVID first hit, she and I were not talking quite as much as we normally had been. She was going through a lot of stressful family stuff. I was dealing with a lot of my own stuff. And I knew that she started doing really well in business, uh, but I didn't really know what she was doing. And when I had told her that I was ready, that this divorce process had started. I was like, look, I need my best friend in town. So she came to Florida and we went away for a couple days. And I was like, look, I want to know a little bit more about what you're doing. One, because I was just curious. And two, like, I might need to make a big change in my life. And it's time I figure it out. I mean, I knew she was killing it, but in my brain, she was just doing traditional personal training, but
Yeah.
over Zoom. So I
Uh-huh.
thought she was doing, like hour one-on-one
Yeah.
session. And in my brain, I couldn't comprehend how she was bringing in the kind of money that she was bringing in working that way. And so it was finally time. We were driving. We had about a 2 hour drive when I picked her up to the beach house we were staying at. And she's like, do you mind if I listen to some trainings while you drive? And I'm like, whatever, go ahead. And I just kept hearing your voice over and over for like 2 hours. I was listening to training after training. And I didn't have a visual. I just heard you. And I'm like, who is this? And so the first night we were out at dinner and she kind of explained it all to me. And I'm like, okay, I need to learn more. And
Right.
that's how I found you and who you were.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I still remember Jill telling me like she plays group call replays in her car while driving.
Yeah,
And you
she
were there.
totally did. And I kept listening and I'm like, what are you listening to? Because it
Yeah.
wasn't the traditional trainings that we were listening to. And while we were away, you know, she did a little work while we were away.
Mhm.
So I stayed in the other room and I heard her on a sales call and I'm like, wow, like she sounds awesome. Like I want to do that. And then I heard her on a call with you and Dan. And I was like, okay, I need to talk to this woman. I need to know more about what this is. Like, make it happen.
Yeah. So then we talked, and for you, with everything, especially like business mentorship, um, you probably had like a million reasons why you needed to do this, but also a million reasons of like why you shouldn't take the leap, sort of thing. So what was that thought process for you? Like, were you nervous? Were you excited, scared?
I was so nervous. Some of the reservations that I didn't have that I know a lot of people do is, you know, you're somebody online that,
Hmm.
I mean, Jill had several calls with you, but she didn't know you from anywhere other than on, you know,
Yeah.
I think she saw an ad. For me, I at least had that reassurance that Jill had already vetted you and Jill had already used you and had really good success. And I value really her opinion more than anybody in the world. So that was helpful. But still, with that, it was a huge monetary investment. And I literally had just told my husband of 16 years that I wanted a divorce. And so I didn't have my own resources at the time. And I did not want to start my new life in debt to my parents at all.
Mm.
I did not have a credit card with a high enough limit to even invest. I had to split my payment with you in two separate cards out of the gate because I just didn't have a card with a high enough limit. And um, I remember as you were running the card, feeling like I was going to puke all over my parents' kitchen table. I was sitting at the table and, um, but I knew that I had to do something,
Uh-huh.
and I preached it, I teached it, taught it, taught it. I preached and I taught so many people. If you want to get ahead, you have to invest, and you have to invest in yourself. And it was time to actually live that. And yeah,
Mhm.
I was so
I want
scared.
to just go back to the when you said that you felt like you wanted to throw up all over your kitchen
Oh yeah,
counter. I think it's something that a lot of people resonate with. So
absolutely.
like what exactly were you scared about? Like what was the biggest fear there?
Honestly, for me, I trusted you. I didn't trust me. And I know with Jill, who's my best friend, for her, she trusts herself more than anything in the world. And it's the other people that she has a harder time trusting. For
Mm.
me, because I had seen the process, I knew that if I didn't succeed, it was going to be on me. And so that was really scary. It was that kind of internal struggle. And knowing that if I didn't succeed, it was me. And then I would be out that money and it would have been all my my own fault.
Mm. So the biggest fear was not so much the money, but more so like, is it, am I going to make it back? What
Yeah.
happens if I don't, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then I didn't want to look like a chump to my best friend who was killing it.
Well, what did you tell yourself to get over that fear? Like, what was that thought in that moment? Was it like,
Um,
fuck it?
it was the, you know, screw it. I'm starting a new life. I just did the scariest thing in the world, you know, to step away from a marriage. I mean, my marriage was over. It had been over for years and years, but there's still, you know, you get in that comfort zone and that complacency. And that's why a lot of people don't leave marriages because it's just financially, it's hard
Mhm.
and it's a whole different life. And it was, you know what? I may as well go big in my new life and get started the right way.
Mhm.
And just had to go all in and just trust you, trust the process. I didn't want to let me down. I didn't want to let my best friend down.
Yeah.
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 So just
I
go
love
all
that. I love that. Because especially with going through a divorce, one thing
yeah.
that a lot of people might think is that they should wait until after
No.
they, mentally recover from it. But of course, there's always two different ways to look at it. On one hand, it's, hey, look, like I'm going through a divorce. Let me put this on hold,
Yeah.
recover from it, and then build my business. But then for you, you did what most people probably wouldn't have done,
Yeah.
like the crazy rare thing. Why was that?
Well, I know that I needed to have my back against the wall. One of the reasons that my other business didn't ever
Okay.
grow was it didn't have to. I didn't need my MLM business to go farther because I had that support. And while I had the support of my parents, I didn't want to have to tap into that. And it was, if I don't sell and earn my money back, I'm going to have debt that I can't pay. And I
Mm,
didn't want to continue to live in my parents' spare bedroom again at 42. So it was, in those first 2.5 months, I was able to earn back my investment and earn enough to get a new apartment, get out
mm.
of my parents' house, and be comfortable and confident knowing that I now have the tools and the skills and the resources to do what I need to do to support myself.
Yeah,
And that was huge.
that's huge. Amazing. And for people who are wondering, so you in 90 days did ended up doing like around 15K?
Yeah, I think I collected just shy of 14.
Uh-huh.
In the month that I did my launch, I was just under. I was like, I don't know, like $100 under 10,000
Mm,
for the month.
incredible. Um, what is your price point for the people who are wondering?
So I started off. Well, my first client was somebody I knew, and I wimped out, and I went in at 1,200, and then my next 7 or 8, my price point was 1,800, and now I'm at 21.
Mm, and that's for 90 days.
Yeah, 90 days.
Love it. What have you been able to do with that money? Because obviously money is great, but like different people want the money for different things. Like for some people, they want to travel. For other people,
Right.
they just want a, nice life or whatever. So
Right.
what was the kind of non-monetary goal for you, lifestyle, stuff like that?
Um, so right now, a lot of that I'm putting aside really to just be covering expenses, and also know that these kind of businesses ebb and flow. And so while I had that much up front, that's for 90 days. So in my brain, I'm looking at this business as a quarterly. While I want to bring in 5K every month, I know that as I'm going through cycles, some months might be slower. So I'm trying to kind of save some of that aside. But I have a trip next month. My best friend is coming to town. We're going away for a nice long couple days to the beach. I'm actually I'm tagging along a trip that she has on Thursday. We're going to go to the Bahamas.
Mm,
And what I love about this kind of business is it's allowed me the finances to cover it, but also the freedom to be able to go and do that. And um, it's cool to be able to work while I'm away. I mean, we'll
yeah.
totally unplug, but we'll also be able to get a little work done. I think she has a sales call while we're away. But it's stuff that we absolutely love doing. So it's cool to spend an hour working. I think when she and I were away, when she introduced me to you, she made at least $2,700 while we were away.
Yeah. I think you said that you saw her closing a sale on the call, and that was
Yeah,
really
I saw
cool.
I saw her close a $2,700 sale. I was like, huh, look at that. Or no, 28. I'm sorry, $2,800.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So on our trip, she had earned. I mean, she closed almost $7,000 worth of sales while she was
Mhm,
visiting. I'm like, I
mhm.
want that.
Yeah.
I
And
want
now it's
that.
yours
And then
too.
my big plan is, um, she is planning a trip, a group trip to Italy in 2022, and I'm planning to fly first class. So that's some of the money I'm putting aside.
Dude, that's so good.
I want
That's
to. I want to fly. If I'm
amazing.
going to be on a plane that long, I want first class all the way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So worth it. So
Yeah.
worth it. Apart from first class, is there anything like that the money has been able to or has allowed you to do? Like
Really.
anything specific for you or just like general lifestyle stuff, the security,
Uh,
when you're comfortable.
yeah. Specific for me is, I mean, I have an apartment. I own my car now, which was something that I got in my divorce. My car that had debt on it. So
Hmm.
it's not necessarily the car that I want, but it's the car that I'm going to have right now
Yep.
until. And that's one of my goals. Everyone said, "Well, you should get a different car. You don't like that car." He picked it out. I was like, "Well, it's going to be a reason to work my ass off if I want a better car, right?" I'm going to stick with that for now. I love the apartment I'm in. It's super minimal because I would rather travel and see friends and do those kind of things.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, it's for me right now, it's security. It's building up enough income that I can feel safe and secure and know that I can weather any ebbs and flows in the business. My goal is not to have a lot of down valley, but
Mm,
I know some months are slower than others. And so I want to make sure that I'm building enough consistency and building enough in reserve that I can still go on vacation when I want.
Yes, exactly. And different people want to, scale their business for different reasons. For some
Right.
people, they just want a really materialistic life. Whereas for you, it sounds like you're okay with setting it aside because you always have that safety net and that feeling of financial security. So
Right.
obviously you crushed the first 90 days. You're still with us. What's the next level goal in terms of the business?
Really to stay consistent at that 5,000 a month. Right now in my mindset is, I'm working in quarters because I do have a 90-day program. So I've got my first couple clients are coming up on the end of theirs. So it's re-signing them so that it's not having to find as many new people. So get really good at that process and
Mhm.
just continue to refine the processes I have in place and get consistent at that 5,000 a month. And then from there, we're going way up.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll go way up.
A little bit way.
I'm 4 months in, 4 months
Uh-huh.
into my new life. And then I'm going to start dabbling in ads. What's really cool is this has all been organic so far.
Yeah.
So aside from my investment with you, I haven't had to invest a whole lot of other money. So everything coming in has really been to me.
Pure
Really
profit.
minimal website stuff, minimal calendar
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited to go bigger.
I love it. I love it. The goal is to scale as aggressively as possible. And once again, like with different business owners, they have different goals. Some people don't mind cruising at 5K a month as a lifestyle business. Other
Right.
people want to scale as aggressively and as quickly as possible. Both are
Right.
totally okay, depending on what this specific business owner wants,
Yeah,
right?
it's funny when I was reinvesting with you and I was still at my parents and I was talking about it and I was talking to my parents about, okay, it's going to be this much to invest now, and they're like, well, do you want to do that? I'm like, yeah, but if I invest this much instead of making 5,000 a month, I'm gonna make 10,000 a month. And my father goes, well, that's a no brainer. I said, like exactly. He goes, why make five when you can make 10? And I'm like, yep. And that's one of the things that's been awesome about your program and working with you is being around other people that are setting the bar higher. I
Mhm.
mean, 5,000 a month sounds really great to me because I haven't been earning my own money in forever, but I mean, 10,000 sounds a hell of a lot better, right?
Sounds twice as good.
Yeah, twice as good. And I get to be on a call with somebody that's making 20,000 a month, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's awesome. It's cool to watch where I'm going to be, and it's cool to see the people that are coming up behind me and the people that are ahead of me. And
Yeah.
that's been so valuable being in that atmosphere.
Yeah. And it's also been really good to see you grow as a coach too and really stay engaged because something that we always say is for someone to get the most out of it, it's 50-50, right? 50% of it is on us and 50% of it is on the client to stay engaged, show up
Mhm.
to the calls, even if they don't have to, message us on Voxer, annoy us, stuff like that. So to sum it up, you basically went from zero to consistent 5K months within the first 90 days of starting your high ticket
Yeah.
business, which is phenomenal. What last words do you have for people watching this?
I mean, if they want to be earning, they're going to have to invest and then just go big. It's Jill said it on her call, and it's my mantra is it's messy action. You've got to jump in and then figure it out as you go. There's never going to be a perfect time. I mean, I did this during divorce. I mean, what better time to jump in than now? If you're serious about your business, sure. Like, could I have figured some of this out on my own? Maybe, but how long
Mhm.
would it have taken me to figure it out when I can hire somebody that's going to teach it to me and
I
then
love that.
keep me accountable? That's the other piece.
Yes, I love that. So, guys, um, I mean, at one point or another, you're pretty much going to have to do something that's uncomfortable. So the timing's never going to be perfect, but go do that thing anyway. Dawn, this was amazing. Where can people find you and check you out and stalk you?
My Facebook is just Dawn Lukowitz. I am at Dawn Lukowitz on Instagram, and my webpage is Epic Redemption Coaching.
Epic Redemption Coaching.
Yes.
I love it. All right, guys, and make sure you check out Dawn. Dawn, thank you for doing this. I'll speak
Thank
to you in a bit.